Hey everyone, welcome to part 16 of this trophy guide and walkthrough for Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Thanks for coming along on this journey with me, and a special thank you to all of the channel members. This is where we begin the post-game content and getting all the remaining trophies. We want to start by going to the Upgrade Attributes menu from the Expedition flag. We'll go over to Mayel, and at this point we've been putting all of our points into Might and into Agility, but now what we want to do is to use one of our recoats by holding down the triangle button, and that resets all of our attribute points to 0. We'll then put 99 points back into Might because Might scales at basically the A level, and then all remaining points available into the Defense stat, which has a B rank of scaling. And by doing this, we're able to do the most damage possible with our current weapon setup. We'll change a little bit later on, but for right now, this is the best. Let's leave the Upgrade Attributes menu and the Expedition flag. We'll go into our Character menu, and we want to make sure that Mayel is the only character that we have in our party. Now we're going to add Monoco back to the party, and we're going to add CL to the party. And that will make our party order in battle be Mayel gets the first turn, then Monoco, then CL. Let's have a look at how Mayel is set up. Her current weapon is the Medallum, still at level 19, and she'll start in Virtual Stance. Her equipped Pictos are Energizing Turn, Energizing Start 4, and Confident Fighter. As for her equipped Luminas, we have a wide variety available to us. We have At Death's Door, Augmented First Strike, Auto Shell, Confident Fighter is equipped, Critical Moment, Energizing Start 1, Energizing Start 2, Energizing Start 4 is equipped, Energizing Turn is equipped, First Strike, Glass Cannon, Greater Defenseless, Greater Powerful, Immaculate, Inverted Affinity, Painted Power, Powered Attack, Powerful on Shell, Rewarding Mark, and Shield Affinity. Now let's have a look at Monoco. He currently has the Bourgeon weapon, which is nice because that will allow us to start in the Agile mask. His equipped Pictos are Augmented Counter 3, Gradient Fighter, and Full Strength. I gave him a few new skills like Chevalier Slash, which is the most important skill we have, Orphelin Cheers, Crueler Barrier, Jar Lamp Storm, which will come in handy later on, Chevalier Piercing, and Portier Crash, which is also important. And then as for his equipped Luminas, we've got Augmented Counter 3 equipped, Energizing Powerful, Energizing Start 1, Energizing Start 2, Energizing Start 3, Energizing Turn, First Strike, Full Strength is equipped, Gradient Fighter is equipped, and Painted Power. Now let's have a look at CL's equipment. I gave her the Bourgeon weapon. There's nothing really particular about this. It just is a high-level weapon that does some good damage, but we really won't use her for fighting very much at all. She's mainly a support character. Her equipped Pictos are Energizing Start 3, Faster Than Strong, as well as First Strike. And then for her equipped Luminas, she has Energizing Start 1, Energizing Start 2, Energizing Start 3 is equipped, Energizing Start 4, Energizing Turn, Exposing Attack, Faster Than Strong is equipped, and First Strike is equipped. This setup will allow us to breeze through most of the fights coming up, but we'll be making some alterations over time as we go along and get new Pictos. Let's use that Expedition flag again, and this time we'll choose the bottom option to go back to the continent. Once we're out on the world map, we're going to get aboard Esquier, and then start going forward as we go toward the mountain in front of us. When you get close, turn toward the right and follow the shoreline over toward the east. Eventually, you're going to see a light blue patch of water. If you get down close to the water, you don't necessarily have to be in the water, but you'll get a prompt that you can collect these 5 colors of Lumina. This is a dive spot, and we'll be collecting quite a few things out of dive spots coming up. And now we're going to head back the way that we came toward Lumiere, and you'll see a mountain on the right side with some spikes on the top of it. You want to go just past that, and on the far shore is going to be a lot of purple rock looking things, and also what appears to be a golden waterfall. We're going to go ahead and land nearby this thing, and then go into the nearby portal, and that will take us into a new area with a lot of good rewards. So let's go into Dark Shores. Once we're inside Dark Shores, we'll notice that there's a couple enemies here that are very powerful, but we shouldn't have a problem with them. We'll begin by heading over toward the left, and we can use the expedition flag. We don't have to do anything special here, we'll just rest really quick, and then we'll leave the flag and proceed forward while hugging the left side. We'll go around the shipwreck, and we can find a color of Lumina sitting on the ground back here by these broken barrels. Now let's turn around, go back the way we came, and keep over toward the left side as we run around another shipwreck that will take us into a narrow passageway. And if we go toward the right, we can find some more broken down barrels and boxes that contain another color of Lumina.
Oh, lovely.
Then we'll proceed forward, going up a little bit of a hill toward the back, and that will give us yet another color of Lumina.
Well, that will help.
Now we'll turn toward the right, go forward along the path, and then stick toward the left-hand side so that we can find our first set of powerful monsters. And if we fight them in a very particular way, we should be able to kill them without them posing a threat to us. We're going to begin by having Mayel use her skill called the Last Chance. It's going to reduce her health to 1, refill all of her AP, and put her into Virtuo stance. Monoco is then going to use his skill called Chapelier Slash, which will mark all of the enemies. Then Ciel is going to use the Fortune's Fury skill so that Mayel can deal double damage on her next turn. And because we have Faster Than Strong equipped onto her, we can then get a second chance to use Intervention on Mayel, and then she will go next.
Okay.
Now let's have Mayel use her skill Phantom Strike to defeat the enemies. After the fight, we get enough experience for all of our party members to level up 1 or 2 times, and we get a very powerful weapon for Verso called Corpeso with a base power of 1706, and the fire element is skills with vitality and agility. We also got a couple grandiose chroma catalysts, which are very necessary for us to keep upgrading our weapons. And these monsters were guarding a new Pictos called En Medias Res, which gives +3 shields on battle start, but max health is halved. That doesn't matter for a character who only has 1 health anyway, so let's go into the character screen, we'll choose Mayel, and then we're going to replace the Energizing start for Pictos with that new En Medias Res Pictos. This is going to pair nicely with the shield affinity Lumina that she has equipped. We'll start the battle with shields now, which will activate shield affinity, giving us the ability to do even more damage. Then we want to turn around and go forward so that we can collect some chroma off the ground. After that, we'll go a little bit toward the right, in between these 2 ships, and we can grab another color of Lumina off the ground by these broken down barrels.
Useful.
And now we're going to fight the nearby monsters. We'll use the same tactic against these guys. Mayel will begin the battle by using Last Chance. Monoco will then use his skill, Chapelier Slash. Ciel will use Fortune's Fury on Mayel. And then Ciel will use Intervention on Mayel. Finally, Mayel is going to use Phantom Strike to eliminate the enemies. With these enemies gone, we get a lot more experience, as well as possibly getting some more grandiose chroma catalysts. We'll proceed forward and we can grab another color of Lumina off the ground.
Oh, lovely.
If we turn slightly toward the left and go across this area, we can go to kind of a back hallway that has a couple enemies over on the right hand side. So let's go and fight them. We've got 3 enemies this time, but the same strategy. Mael uses Last Chance. Monoco uses Chevalier Slash. Ciel uses Fortune's Fury on Mael.
Show me what I can do. Here we go.
Ciel uses Intervention on Mael.
Your time to shine. I can do it.
And Mael wins with 1 Phantom Strike.
Prepare for annihilation.
And now after the battle, we'll get lots of experience again, possibly leveling up a couple times. We also get some more grandiose Chroma Catalysts, and because we've fought a couple battles with that faster than strong Pictos equipped, we've now mastered it and learned the Lumina. We'll continue forward just a few steps so that we can pick up some more Chroma on the ground. And then we'll keep going straight ahead all the way toward the end of this hallway, and we can grab even more Chroma.
Great.
Now let's turn around so that we can go back the way that we came. We'll circle around toward the left, and we want to return to the expedition flag so that we can really set up our characters for the next bit of content. If you thought Mael was strong before, you haven't seen anything yet. At the expedition flag, we're going to go down to upgrade weapons, and we've been using her medallion weapon so far throughout this game, but now we're going to make a switch over to the Jarum weapon. It's only level 5 right now, but we've got plenty of polished Chroma Catalysts and Resplendent Chroma Catalysts and even grandiose Chroma Catalysts, so we can raise this Jarum weapon all the way up to somewhere in the low 20s. You might have enough to get it all the way up to level 24 like me, and that's going to give you a significant increase to your offensive abilities. And the great thing about this weapon is that in virtual stance, all damage with this weapon pierces shields, so we don't have to get rid of any enemy shields before we go straight into eliminating the enemy. We now want to go into the character screen, and we'll switch Mael's weapon from the medallion, which currently has a power of 1,673, to that new Jarum weapon with a power of 2,534. It also scales with vitality best, so what we're going to do is go back to the expedition flag and we're going to respec her once again. We've got tons of recodes, so we're not really wasting anything by doing this. We just had to be strong enough to defeat those tough enemies, but now we're going to respec all of her attributes again. Once again, we're going to put 99 points into Might, and the rest are going to go into Vitality. That's also going to give her a big boost to her health, but we don't really care about that because Last Chance will just put her at 1 health anyway. So now that she's set up with both Agility and Vitality, we'll go through the rest of our party members, and just for simplicity's sake, we're going to put all of their points into Agility and just make sure that all of those attribute points are accounted for. So that's going to raise all of our characters up a little bit higher as we get closer to level 66, and then we're going to have 2 stats that are maxed out. Once we're all set with that, we're going to go back through the portal, and we're going to go back out onto the world map. There's a nearby new Pictos for us. All we have to do is to jump onto Esquier, and then we're going to run over toward the southwest where we can find some broken down boxes, and amidst all of those is our new Pictos called the Dead Energy 1, plus 3 AP on killing an enemy. We picked up Dead Energy 2 a long time ago. This is just a new one in addition to that. Now we're going to fly on Esquier straight up into the air and then over toward the north where we can find 2 small islands. The larger of those islands has a chromatic enemy on it, so let's go ahead and land here and then we can fight him. The chromatic aberration is very easy to defeat using basically the same tactic. Mayel is going to use Last Chance. Monoco is going to use Chapelier Slash. Ciel is going to use Fortune's Fury on Mayel.
Show me what you can do.
Ciel will also use Intervention on Mayel. And now Mayel can use a Stendhal to instantly eliminate the enemy. That attack from Mayel did over 12 million damage, and the total time of that fight lasted less than a minute. We get a lot of experience for our characters, leveling up a few times, and we get a new Pictos called Longer Burn. Burn duration is increased by 2. We also get a new weapon for Monoco called Brumaro, with a base power of 2018 in the physical element. It scales with vitality and agility. We get a couple more of those grandiose Chroma Catalysts, which is nice for upgrading weapons, and 5 colors of Lumina. And finally, we've mastered the Gradient Fighter Pictos because it was equipped on Monoco for 4 battles. Now let's get back onto SKA, we'll take off and fly, and we want to orient ourselves so that we're flying over toward the east. If we look down at the ground as we fly over these purple rocks, which actually look like body parts, we can look down on the ground and we can find a couple small monsters, including one of the ones that we fought in the Dark Shores area. So let's land amidst these enemies and then we're going to fight them. You probably already know how to defeat these enemies with that same setup. Mayel is going to use Last Chance. Monoco will use Chapelier Slash. Ciel will use Fortune's Fury on Mayel. Ciel will use Intervention on Mayel.
Your time to shine.
And now Mayel is going to use Phantom Strike to eliminate all the enemies. Once again, we get a lot of experience for defeating these enemies, and we get some pretty good loot. We picked up a Resplendent Chroma Catalyst, which is good if we want to upgrade other weapons. We get an upgrade to our Burning Death Pictos, going from level 9 to level 19, and our Pictos called Powerful on Shell upgrades from level 13 to level 19. And we've also mastered the Pictos in Medias Res for Mayel. Now let's turn so that we're facing toward the east and run over toward the shipwrecks in this area. There's a small hill to the side of them, and that hill contains some more chroma for us. Now we can jump back onto SKA, and we want to continue flying over toward the east over the water. Look in the sky and you'll see a large purple cloud. We want to fly in the direction of that cloud, and we'll find another light blue patch of water, which is another dive spot, and then if we get low enough, we can grab 5 more colors of Lumina when prompted. We'll then turn toward the left and fly toward the nearby patch of land, and on the beach is going to be another one of those Bourgeon enemies, so let's go ahead and land, and then we can fight him. We'll begin by having Mayel use her Last Chance ability. Monoco is then going to use Chapelier Slash to mark the enemies and probably kill the lesser ones. Ciel will then use Fortune's Fury on Mayel. Ciel will then use Intervention on Mayel. And then Mayel can either use a Phantom Strike if there are multiple enemies remaining, or just one Stendhal if only the Bourgeon remains. With the enemies defeated, we'll get our rewards. We get a new foot for Monoco for defeating a new enemy, the Portier. We get our Pictos for Augmented Counter 1 increased from level 9 to level 10. We get our Abyssaram weapon upgraded from level 9 to level 10. And we get a new Bourgeon skin as well, which is useful for our quest later. We then get a Polished Chroma Catalyst, which isn't very useful to us at this point. And then if we look toward the left, we can pick up another color of Lumina nearby. Keep going along the path a little bit to the intersection, then turn left and follow the path until you get to a nearby camp, where there's going to be an expedition journal that we can listen to. So let's go ahead and do that right now.
Ben, 64, Epsilon. We radioed our first report to Gamma. The line is good. Alpha will be out of radio range for a few days as they investigate down coast. They spotted an interesting island which could make a good relay point for the southern half of the continent. But Gamma hasn't heard from Beta in 2 weeks. Marceau should reach her in another day. I hope Kalina's okay. But it seems someone is using our radios against us. How do they even know our codes? Nobody's used them since the fracture. Sean fears we've been betrayed, but I refuse to believe that.
After collecting the journal for Expedition 64, go back to the intersection that we just came from. And then turn toward the left and you're going to find a portal that will take us into a different area. Let's use that portal and we're going to go into the Meadows. This is a very small area. All we have to do is run over toward the right side by the light blue glowing tree, and we can pick up a music record called Our Painted Family. After that, we're going to turn around and leave out the bottom left corner of the screen. Once you're back out onto the world map, then you want to get aboard Eskia again, go a little bit north until you get to the water, then turn toward the left and follow the shoreline over, and you're going to loop around toward the left where you can see some red trees and half of a floating building. We can then land, and there's going to be an item on the ground in a small camp just on the right hand side. Let's go ahead and pick that up, and that's going to give us another color of Lumina. Now we're going to go underneath of that floating building, and that will take us into a new area called Ancient Gestral City. Another small area where all we have to do is run into the middle, and we can grab another music record called Lights of the Past. Now turn around and go back to the lower right hand corner of the screen to exit out onto the world map. We'll jump back onto Eskia, and we want to go over toward the right-hand side, and we're going to make our way back over toward the water. Nearby is a patch of land, and if you get very close to the ground by this camp, you can pick up some more chroma off the ground. Then continue forward just a little bit, and you can grab another color of Lumina off this ledge.
Good stuff.
Nearby is a portal that we want to go through, and that will take us into Twilight Quarry. Once again, it's a small area. Just run into the middle and grab the music record.
What have we here?
And once you have it, go back out toward the bottom right corner of the screen to go back to the world map. Let's jump onto Eskia, turn toward the left. We're going to go over toward those red trees, but then keep going until you get to the glowing blue tree in the distance, and that will take us back to one of the first areas that we came through in the game called Spring Meadows. Let's begin by running forward, and if we look toward the left-hand side, there's going to be a golden rope that will take us down. We'll continue along the path in front of us as we go past the expedition flag. And then we're going to hug the right wall until we can drop down off the ledge. keep going over toward the right and go through this narrow canyon. At the end of it is going to be a paint spike that we can destroy. We'll then proceed forward and we can grab an item on the ground. This is going to give us 3 more colors of Lumina. Then turn toward the left and go down the new passageway. As we go along, there's another paint spike that we can destroy. And then continue going forward as we go up a bit of a hill. Continue following the glowing flowers as they take you up and into a cave. This area contains the very first friendly Nevron that we ever met. It is incredibly important that you do not attack this guy. Instead, you just want to talk to him, and then make sure that you only choose to talk to him. So say, well, good luck with that, we'll be on our way. You've exhausted all of his dialogue, which is important for later on. And then nearby is another paint spike that you should destroy. We'll go through the passageway, and we'll grab the nearby item to get a color of Lumina. We then want to use the grapple point to go over the gap. Continue along the path while looking toward the right hand side, and soon you'll see a new Pictos on the ground that we should pick up, and this is called the Aegis Revival, +1 shield on being revived. Now turn toward the left and continue following the path. It's going to be a bit of a trek to get to the next expedition flag, but at least this area looks really nice. We'll drop down a couple ledges and then keep going forward. When you get to the cliff's edge, look toward the left and use the handholds to go down and toward the right. Now continue along the path in front of you. We'll use the grapple point to go over the gap, and then we'll drop down from the ledge. Continue forward and go through the crawl space, and then follow the path forward as it winds around over toward the right hand side, and this will take you back to the expedition flag. Let's use the flag, and then we'll choose the bottom option to go back to the continent. Once we're back out onto the world map, get back onto Esquier, and then you want to turn a little bit toward the left so that you're heading toward the northwest. Follow the path along the way, and then you're going to go through a new portal that will take you into Abbest Cave. Let's continue forward as we go through the cave, and once you get outside, you're going to see an expedition flag immediately on your left. So let's go ahead and use that, and we'll only choose the rest option. After that, we can leave the flag, and then we want to keep going forward through this area until we see the Abbest enemy at the end. Let's go over and we'll fight him. It's another Chromatic enemy, and he's easy to defeat. Mayel is going to use Last Chance. Monoco uses Chapelier Slash. CL will use Fortune's Fury on Mayel. CL will use Intervention on Mayel. And Mayel can win with one Stendhal. After the fight, we get enough experience for Mayel to get up to level 64, and we also get some pretty good loot, including a new Pictos called First Offensive. First hit dealt and taken deals 50% more damage, and we get 2 Resplendent Chroma Catalysts so that we can upgrade some weapons, and 5 colors of Lumina. The new Pictos that we just got, called First Offensive, goes very well with Mayel's setup. So let's go into our character screen, choose Mayel, and then we'll go into our Pictos menu. Because we've already mastered In Medias Res, we can remove that Pictos, and in its place we'll put First Offensive. I found it about halfway down in the right column. Once that's equipped, we're going to go into our Lumina's menu and we're going to re-equip in Medias Res so that we get the bonuses from that. If you don't have quite enough Lumina points, just go back to the nearby expedition flag and give her a couple more. We now also want to go to Monoco and we want to give him a few more Luminas as well. We're going to go down and we're going to give him Exposing Attack. And we're also going to give him Faster Than Strong. So he's going to get 2 turns now in a row, and we can often use one of those turns to hit the enemy, expose them, and give them the defenseless status effect, and then we can use Chapelier Slash to also give them a mark, and that will cause us to do even more damage to enemies, and now things are going to get really silly. We're then going to go forward and we're going to go back up the hill through the cave and we can exit out onto the world map. Once we're outside, we can get aboard Esquier. We'll choose to fly, and we want to go over toward the southwest just a little bit. You're gonna see this kind of Y-shaped clearing in the ground. Let's land kind of right in the middle of it. And then we can find a nearby paint spike, and if we destroy it, we can get another new Pictos. Let's look inside, and we're gonna get Breaking Slow, 25% increased break damage against slowed enemies. There's a lot more paint spikes in this area, but none of them contain anything useful for us. We're then going to get back onto Esquier, and we're going to fly over toward where the Abbest cave was, and then we're going to continue forward toward the north. As we go along, if we keep toward the left-hand side, we can go into a place called the Small Bourgeon. Once we're inside, we can go forward and we can use the nearby expedition flag. We're just going to quickly rest here and then leave the flag. As we follow the path over toward the left, we'll find a small Bourgeon who is a friendly Nevron, so do not attack him at all. We have to complete his quest. So let's go over and we're going to talk to him. Brother. Tall. Wonder. The view up high. Another one of these weird Nevrons. There's something you want to see up there? Mistress. Far. Very far. Want to see. Mistress. We want to know more about your mistress. Me, do not know. Head, fuzzy. Can only feel, mistress. Need to go, high. Help me, grow. Grow? How exactly? When me ingest. Me grow. If me eat skin. Skin, same kind as me. Me extra grow. Skin, you need us to skin some Nevrons? Yes, skin. Eat skin. My kind. Grow. So, kill and skin the same type of Nevron as this one. It might be a good challenge. Well, we definitely did that a little while ago, so let's talk to him again, and we'll say, will this suffice? Give Bourgeon skin. Oh, yes. This, great. Hungry. Oof. Rest, digest. Later, come, see. After we're done talking to him, we'll turn toward the left, and we'll follow this little path as we jump over the rock, and then continue forward until we get to another expedition journal that we can listen to.
Expedition 53, Lilu. Dominique's other injuries are manageable, but she's been in a coma for 2 weeks with no change. Fuck. What do? We can't just leave her here. But what about the mission? Lance says give her 1 more week, but Dom would have wanted us to go on. She'd have yelled at us for even staying this long. It's the right choice. It is. Even if it doesn't feel like it, right? Right? Pons found a plant, tested it on some animals, says it'll be painless for Dom. He's preparing a tincture. It's fucked up. Everything's fucked up. But it's what she would have wanted.
After listening to the journal for Expedition 53, we're going to turn around and make our way back toward the entrance of this area so that we can return to the world map. Just follow the path forward and then stick over toward the right-hand side as you loop around. We'll go back past the flag and through the portal to go back to the world map. Enough time has passed to complete this quest, so let's go back inside and we're going to go back to the small Bourgeon. Continue running forward past the expedition flag, turn left, and now you can see a very large Bourgeon. So let's go over and talk to him. Look, big size. Like brother. You grew up fast. Do all of you do this? No. Was broken. Humans fix me? Want you take. Reward. And now he's going to give us a reward. It doesn't appear where you think it would be right in front of him. It's actually behind you. So look around and you're going to find an item on the ground. This will just give us 1 color of Lumina. And before we leave, we just want to talk to the Nevron one more time to exhaust his dialogue. Make sure that you don't choose to attack and say, so aren't you going to see your mistress? Me felt mistress. But what I see, up. Not mistress. Regent. Regent? Who is this regent? Mistress paints us. Regent tends us. She watches. There. Sky. And there's nothing else that we have to say, so we'll just choose to leave. And now we can leave this area entirely. So turn toward the right, run along the path, go past the expedition flag, and out the portal so that we can return to the world map. Once we're outside, we'll turn left so that we're facing north, and we'll run forward along the path until we can fight some enemies. These guys are super weak and no setup is required. Just have Mayel go straight into a Phantom Strike to win. After we collect all of our rewards, then we want to look nearby inside these broken down boxes, and there's going to be another item waiting for us. So let's go over and grab it, and that will give us another color of Lumina. We'll then continue forward toward the north a little bit more as we go toward the yellow trees, and we can find another Gestral merchant, and we're going to choose to trade with him. We can pick up 3 new hairstyles called Artist, but most importantly, there's the Goblu record that we can buy for 1,000 Chroma, and we definitely need to buy this because it's one of the 33 that we need to collect for a trophy. So make sure that you buy the Goblu record, and then go ahead and leave the merchant. So yeah, we picked up a new hairstyle for Ciel, for Mayel, and for Lune, all called Artist. And we also got that Goblu music record. Once we're all done here, we'll turn toward the left and we're going to go over toward these red trees. If you get aboard SKA, you can go a lot faster. We'll go toward the back side of this very large rock, and that will take us into Red Woods. Once we're inside Red Woods, we'll go forward and we can use the nearby expedition flag. Let's just choose to rest really quick, and then we can leave the flag. We'll continue along the path in front of us, and we're going to interact with this bubbling cauldron on the ground. An odd-looking fountain. Chroma swirls inside. We need a total of 90,000 chroma in order for this to work, and we'll put it in increments, starting with 5,000 chroma. Must mines created by man be considered false? Many have pondered this question. Most have understood its complexity. But alas, not all. Long had they thought the answer obvious. But the more they pondered, the more it consumed them whole.
What is this? A cryptic story dispenser?
Actually, I found it quite interesting. Could we try it again?
Now interact with it again. The odd-looking fountain. The last time chroma was poured inside, the fountain began to speak. Pour in 10,000 chroma. Grief is not a burden that needs to be carried alone. Still, it has broken the minds of many, with profound consequences. Interact with it again. The odd-looking fountain. The last time chroma was poured inside, the fountain began to speak. Now put in 25,000 chroma. Such a beautiful painting, tainted by suffering. Would that they could go back to those days. In the face of countless trials, families reunite, and they overcome. Interact with it again, and this time we're going to put in a total of 50,000 chroma. All this chroma has been rather energizing. Thanks to you, I awaken from my slumber. Did my tales interest you this much? I'm afraid I have no more to share, but you can have this. And now we get a new Pictos called Recovery. Recovers 10% health on turn start. Let's talk to him again. I take it you want more of my rambling? I apologize. I do not have any more tales to tell. Why were you hiding here? I am different. My presence on this continent was deemed an offense by those who have already claimed these territories. I had to give up on my travels. I then found this resting place. You know the rest. Reflection and meditation have brought me to an answer. I shall live on and have my own tale about my own trials and tribulations. And now we'll choose to leave. Again, make sure you don't attack him. And once you're done, turn around and go back out the portal so that we can return to the world map. It's now time to do one of the trickier challenges that we have to complete for a trophy. What you want to do is to go forward toward the intersection, then turn toward the left so that we're traveling basically toward the north, and you'll see a bunch of jars over here with the Gestral hairs, and we're going to go into the nearby portal that will take us to the Gestral beach.
Oh, this looks like fun. This looks like a waste of time.
Let's go forward and talk to the nearby Gestral. Oh, humans, it's been a while. What is this place? A beach? Okay, but what are you doing here? I'm training hard every day to reach the end of this parkour course. My mate already reached the end, and he is a master at crafting swimsuits. And I desperately need a new swimsuit. Maybe we can help with that. Oh, if I can't do it, then you certainly can't either. But if you ever manage, he will probably reward you greatly. My mate is over there. You can't miss him. He's one ugly mate. Enjoy failing. Yeah, we'll probably fail a lot. Let's go behind him and toward the left, and we want to run along this course until we get to the end to get our reward. Unfortunately, it's pretty difficult and it requires some pretty precise jumping. As you go toward the log, you really have to line yourself up right, otherwise you'll fall in the water and have to start over again. So I skipped a lot of bad trials, and now we're going to go to the one where I actually completed it. So I found that it was actually pretty easy to run along this part and then do your running jumps. Make sure that you're holding down the X button as you jump, because then if you get close, you can then grab the ledge and then pull yourself back up if your aim was a little bit off. Once you get past that jumping part, it actually becomes a whole lot easier. Just follow the path and turn your camera first, and that way you can basically just keep walking straight ahead. It wants to go a little bit more toward the right, it seems, so you'll have to adjust toward the left a little bit more as you go. Once you get to the spinning part, then you just want to take a running jump and try to get toward the middle, but be careful not to go into the hole in the middle of this area. Then go toward the edge and wait until it circles around, and then you can jump onto the next one. Once you make it onto the second platform without the spikes on top of it, then stand close to the edge and wait for it to circle around, and then you can jump onto the next platform. Once again, get back over toward the edge, and then wait for it to circle around, and when you get to the other platform, then jump onto it. You'll see that there's a moving platform that goes back and forth, and there's quite a long jump in between the platform we're on and the next one that we have to get to over there. So back up a little bit, take a running leap, and then make sure you're holding down the X button so that you can grab onto the ledge and pull yourself up. Then just wait for the moving platform to come back, and then we can jump onto it fairly easily. And now we'll look over toward the right, and when we get close, we'll take a running jump to get to the circular platform. Again, don't fall into the hole. Then jump over to the last platform and talk to the Gestral. Oh, someone arrived here? And it's a human. Interesting. I guess that deserves a reward. Well, if you answer my question correctly, you can have one. If I were a 2-year-old human, at what age would I gamage? The correct answer is 17. You're probably right. I can't count anyway. Here, take this. And we have a new swimsuit for Lune. Do you have more? Do you think I'm some sort of professional swimsuit maker? I am. But no, I don't. There are other creators like me on other beaches. We meet up from time to time to brainstorm swimsuit ideas. Off you go now. I need peace. To leave this place, all you have to do is to walk off the platform, fall into the water, and you'll be teleported back by the first Gestral, and now we can talk to him. Oh, nice swimsuit. Now let's turn left, and we can go through the portal to return to the world map. Once you're back outside onto the world map, then get back aboard Esquier and turn your camera so that you're facing over toward the south. You'll want to go over the water and then hug that wall on your left-hand side as you go around. That will allow you to loop around toward the left. You'll go under this bridge, and then on the right-hand side is a beach with a large jar monster. So we'll land and then go over and fight him, and this will be another chromatic enemy that we can defeat. As you might recall, we changed Monoco setup a little bit, and that will change our tactics slightly here. We'll still begin with my yell using Last Chance. Monoco now gets 2 turns in a row, so he'll use his first turn to use a base attack, and that will apply defenseless to the enemy. And then on the second turn, we're going to use the skill Chapelier Slash to inflict a mark. Now Ciel is going to use Fortune's Fury on Mayel to double her damage. Ciel will then use Intervention on Mayel so that Mayel can go immediately. And finally, now Mayel is going to use a Stendhal to wipe the floor with this Chromatic Jar. Yeah, we just did nearly 23 million damage with that attack. We get some pretty good rewards for this fight, including a new weapon for Mayel called the Jarum. It has a base power of 504 and the physical element, and it scales with defense and luck. We get 2 more Resplendent Chroma Catalysts, as well as 5 more colors of Lumina. We can get another color of Lumina by proceeding forward and going over into this camp area, and we can pick up the item among all of these boxes. Then we want to turn around, get back onto Esquier, and go over toward the water. Follow it over toward the right, and as you approach the weird-looking wall in the distance, there's another light blue spot in the water. This has another dive area where we can get 5 more colors of Lumina. We're now going to hold the R1 button so that we can ascend straight up into the air until we can find a small island floating in the sky. And here it is. Let's go over. We don't have to land, we just have to get close to the ground to find another one of the lost Gestrals. We'll talk to him, we'll go through the same familiar dialogue that we get with all of these lost Gestrals, and then we'll say, Sastro is waiting for you. This is the 5th of 9 of the lost Gestrals that we have to find, so we've got 4 more after this. Now we're going to leave this island and head straight back down where we came from by holding down the L1 button. As we get back down toward the surface of the water, we're going to keep going over toward the east to go to the nearby beach, and we can land here and then fight the nearby enemies. These enemies are very weak. All we have to do is have Mayel use a Phantom Strike to defeat them instantly. We'll collect all of our rewards, and then we want to continue forward up the slope as we go up toward the top, where we find another small camp and some broken boxes that have a new Pictos called Energizing Heal. On healing an ally, also give 2 AP. We're then going to get back aboard Esquier, and we want to travel over toward the south. Now there's a couple Gestral arenas that we can go to. One of them is this Coliseum up on top of this floating island. This is not the one that we want to go to originally. This is the Dark Gestral arena that we'll come to later. Instead, we'll go closer toward the ground, and we're going to go into the Yellow Tree area, where we can find a portal that will take us into the hidden Gestral arena. Let's go forward, and we're going to use the nearby expedition flag, but all we're going to do is to quickly rest and then leave the flag again. Let's continue forward along the path, and we're going to make our way through this narrow passageway until we get to a large stage. We'll go up onto it and talk to the small Gestral. Welcome, stranger, to our top secret Gestral fight club. If you're not tough, you can still run away, you cowards. Show us what you've got, weaklings. Who will fight? Let's choose Mayel. And who will destroy you? We'll choose Matthew the Colossus. Good choice, he's the weakest. This will begin a series of one-on-one battles. All we have to do is have Mayel use Phantom Strike against all of these opponents, and they'll be dead instantly. Well played, you deserve this. we get a new Pictos called Last Stand Critical, 100% critical chance while fighting alone. Back up slightly, and then go back to talk to the Gestral. Who will fight? Again, we'll choose Mael. And who will destroy you? This time we'll choose Bertrand Big Hands. Big hands, big muscles. You can't win. And we'll just have Mael use Phantom Strike to win. After the fight, we'll get our reward from the Gestral. Well played, you deserve this. We get a new Pictos called Accelerating Last Stand, gain Rush if fighting alone. Back up, return, talk to him, and we're going to choose Mael to fight once again. And who will destroy you? We'll choose Dominique Giant Feet. His feet are legendary. Again, just use a Phantom Strike to win. Well played, you deserve this. We get a new Pictos called Protecting Last Stand, gain Shell if fighting alone. We'll back up one more time and return to him. And once again, we're going to choose Mael as our fighter. And as our opponent, we'll take Julian Tinyhead. This guy looks ridiculous. Once again, use one Phantom Strike to win. And we'll get our reward for winning. Well played, you deserve this. You managed to beat everyone here, well done. Here, now get out of my sight. We get a new Pictos called Solo Fighter, deal 50% more damage if fighting alone. And we get Empowering Last Stand, gain Powerful if fighting alone. That's all that we need to do here, so we're just going to turn around, go back the way that we came through the narrow passageway. We'll go past the expedition flag, and we're going to go through the portal to go back out onto the world map. From here, we're going to jump on board Esquier. We're going to go forward as we break through these blue rocks, and then on the right-hand side is going to be a paint spike that we should destroy. Inside the paint spike is another color of Lumina. Now let's get onto Esquier, and we're going to keep circling around the large rock on the right-hand side. As we smash through some more rocks, we'll straighten ourselves out and go forward toward the red trees in the distance, and then on the left-hand side is going to be another very small camp that has some chroma for us. As we look toward the north, there's some more blue rocks that we want to smash through. As we go toward the water, we can find another expedition journal. Let's have a listen to this one.
Verso, Expedition 62. Bourgeon beat the rest of us to 100 kills, but I'm still 3 shy. I might need to do some solo hunting if I'm going to even up the score. Oh, I can hear a big Nev coming. They count for double. If I kill it quick, I can boost my score.
After collecting the journal for Expedition 62, turn toward the left a bit so that you can see a rather large Nevron on top of this white mountain. As you get close to it, look toward the right, and you want to fly down amidst all of these orange trees so that you can go through a new portal that takes you into Lost Woods. This is another very small area where all you have to do is run down toward the bottom of the screen, then a little bit toward the left, and then go up the stairs to grab Aileen's Glass House, a new music record. Then we want to leave by going back the way that we came, and we'll go back out onto the world map. Now we want to get back onto Esquier and turn so that we're flying over toward the north. We can see an island that has a bunch of green trees nearby. We want to fly over the first set of green trees, and we'll land in the clearing just beyond them. And in this area is a new Gestral merchant that we can talk to purchase a few more cosmetic items. We'll choose the trade option, and then we'll purchase the skirt for Lune, the vintage haircut for Mayel, and the civilian outfit for Mayel. After getting those things, we can turn toward the left and we'll find some crates and some boxes by the trees. And if we go and inspect them, we can get another color of Lumina. We'll get back aboard SKA as we continue along the path toward the east. We'll circle around the rocks over toward the left, and if we go over into this area, we can find another doorway that leads us into the manor. Once we get inside the manor, we want to proceed forward and we'll go up the circular staircase to go to the upper level. At the top, if we go over toward the right hand side, we can interact with the bookcase to open up a secret door. We'll go inside and we're going to get a new outfit for Verso, which is the civilian outfit. Then we'll turn around to go back the way that we came, and we'll see that there's an item on the left hand side. In order to get to it, we've got to go way over toward the right, and you have to jump up onto this ledge and then continue to jump across the platforms as you go along the wall, and then we can get over toward the other side to grab the item. This will give us a shape of energy. Now we can hop down, and there are two doors in the corner. We want to go to the door on the right first to unlock it. That gives us a shortcut into the basement area. And then we'll turn toward the left and we're going to go through this door, which just opens up into the entryway. So let's go forward and go through the door, and that will take us back out to the world map. We don't need to fight the nearby monsters, so let's skip that. Instead, we're going to keep going over toward the west, and if we look toward the base of this giant rock formation, we can grab another color of Lumina by this camp. There's a very large monster in the water. This is actually one of the more dangerous monsters in the game, but we can absolutely smoke him. So let's go over and defeat him, and we're going to get a new trophy for doing that. We'll begin by having Mayel use her last chance skill. Monoco will use his first turn to use a base attack and apply defenseless. On his second turn, he's going to use Chapelier Slash to inflict a mark on Sprong. Ciel is going to use Fortune's Fury on Mayel to double her damage. And then she's going to use Intervention on Mayel. Finally, Mayel is going to use a Stendhal to win the fight before Sprong even has a chance to attack. When we win, we get a new trophy called Sprong. We get a lot of experience as well, and I've seen people take over 20 minutes trying to fight this guy, but we beat him in under 1 minute.
That was one of her first creations.
And our big reward is the Cheater Pictos, always played twice in a row. It acts like faster than Strong, but we're not penalized by having a 50% reduction in damage. We also get some more grandiose Chroma Perilous as well as a recoat as a reward. We then want to turn over toward the left, and we want to fly up into the air toward this large red floating island. If we circle around toward the back of it, we can find the portal that will take us into a new area called Crimson Forest. Once we get inside Crimson Forest, we're going to go straight ahead along the path. There's a couple platforms that we have to jump over, so make your way over these platforms, and we're going to continue along the path. Eventually, you'll see a grapple point in front of you, and when you see that, then stop, look over toward the left, and you'll be able to drop down below. And this will allow us to pick up some chroma off the ground.
Interesting.
We can then use the handholds in this area to climb back up toward the top. Now we can turn toward the left and use that grapple point to go over the gap. Just ahead of us is another expedition flag. Let's go ahead and rest here really quick and then we'll continue on. From the expedition flag, we'll look over toward the right and we can use a golden rope to go down lower. Once you get to the bottom, there's going to be a crawl space behind you. Let's go through that and then we can grab some more chroma off the ground.
Great.
Turn around and go back through the crawl space, and you'll see another golden rope that takes you even further down below. Now we'll proceed over toward the right hand side. As we circle around, we can grab a color of Lumina off the ground.
Oh, wow.
Then turn around, go up the hill behind you, and use the platforms to jump over the gaps. When you get to the top, then jump over toward the last section, and then you can use the handholds to climb up. When you get up toward the top, look toward the right, and then jump over onto the spike that sticks out of the wall, and use the golden rope to climb up. Once you're at the top, turn toward the right, and there's going to be a couple paths that we can take here. The first is going to be some platforms that we can jump across immediately to our right, and that will take us to some boxes on the right hand side that contain another color of Lumina. Now let's make our way back over those platforms that we jumped across so that we get back up to the top. From here, we'll turn over toward the right hand side, and we want to take the hill on the right that goes up. When you get to the top, keep running forward, and you're going to see a large statue with a glowing red sword. Let's go over and interact with it. This is the first of 3 locks that we need to use in order to fight the next boss. Don't be concerned when the color changes that that's supposed to happen. There's also some new enemies in this area. We can use the grapple point nearby to jump over toward them. You can either fight them or run away, it doesn't really matter. Then you want to jump over the platforms and get to the far side, where you can then jump over toward the last platform and pick up another color of Lumina off the ground. Let's make our way back over toward those monsters, but this time instead of jumping back across the gap, we'll just walk off the platform and fall down into this lower section. In this area, there's a couple things we want to do. If we go over toward the right hand side, we can grab an item on the ground to get a Resplendent Chroma Catalyst. And then we'll turn over toward the left to find the second red sword lock that we need to fight the boss. From here, we'll turn toward the right and we'll go into the nearby cave. There's a couple enemies in this area. Once again, you can either fight them or you can try to evade them. Unfortunately, I got caught up here and I did get into a fight, but because of our setup, we will always be going first, which means if we hold down the left stick, we're able to initiate a flee. All of our characters will go in order and we're guaranteed to escape. Then we can run forward, go through the crawl space, and then we want to jump down from this ledge. We've actually been to this area before. We picked up a color of Lumina right here, and this is the spot where we have to go forward, jump across a couple ledges, and then we're going to get back to the weird outcropping here that we can jump across to. We're going to use the handholds to climb back up toward the top, and then when we're at the top, we'll turn toward the right and jump back onto the spike. Then use the golden rope to get up to the top. We'll turn toward the right, And this time, instead of going up the ramp toward the right, we're going to take the left path and go down below. Again, you might get into some fights with these enemies. I just ran away from them all. We keep going down and then over toward the right to grab a color of Lumina, then turn around and keep making our way back along the path as it goes the other direction. There's going to be a path that leads over toward the left where you have to jump over some platforms, and there's a box over on the left-hand side that gives you a Resplendent Chroma Catalyst. Now we'll jump back onto the platforms in the middle of this area, turn toward the left, and keep going over the platforms as you go over toward a expedition flag across this narrow bridge. We'll use the flag really quick only to rest, and then we'll leave the expedition flag. Turn toward the right and there's going to be a ledge that you want to climb up with some enemies nearby. Again, fight them if you want to. They should be very easy to kill with Mayel, or you can just keep running past them. We'll use the grapple point to go over the gap, and on the left hand side is going to be the third of those red swords that act as a lock for the boss. Once you activate that one, we're going to make our way back over the way that we came by using the grapple point. We'll go past these monsters, and we're going to continue on forward. The expedition flag is on our left, but we'll go over toward the right, and we're going to find a red swirling mass of energy, and we'll go over and interact with it. We'll choose to examine it, and then we'll fight the boss when something is coming. We have a Chromatic Gold Chevalier. All we have to do is have Mayel use her last chance. Monoco will use a base attack against the boss in the middle. On his second turn, he's going to use a Chevalier Slash. Ciel will use Fortune's Fury on Mayel.
Show me what you got on.
Ciel will then use Intervention on Mayel. And then Mayel can use a Phantom Strike to eliminate all three enemies. After the battle, we'll get all of our rewards, including enough experience for both Monoco and Ciel to level up, and we get an upgrade to our Perilous Parry Pictos. It goes from level 15 to level 20. We also then get 2 Resplendent Chroma Catalysts, and we're going to get 5 colors of Lumina. After that, we're going to go into the big basin in front of us, and we can get a new weapon for Verso called the Chevalam, with a base power of 1,532 in the physical element. It scales with agility and luck. Then we'll turn around and go back to the expedition flag. There's nothing more that we have to do here, so once we get to the flag, we're going to choose the bottom option to go back to the continent. Once we're out onto the world map, we're going to get aboard Eskia again, and we'll keep flying straight toward the south as we go toward the large Eiffel Tower in the distance. You'll see that there's that large Nevron who's standing on top of the White Mountain. We want to keep descending until we get down to him. At the base of his feet is going to be a portal that will take us into a new area. So once we get down below, we can go through the nearby portal to go into Yellow Harvest. We'll proceed forward and we'll go over to the expedition flag, and this is where we're going to rest and where we're going to end part 16. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that like button as it really helps me out, and consider subscribing so that you can join our amazing community and so you can stay up to date with the rest of the videos in this series. I'll see you soon in part 17 where we continue our post-game adventures, and I can't wait to bring that to you. So until then, thanks for watching and have a good day.